What's up, familia? Welcome back. I'm putting on my headphones so I can hear, so I can hear myself, I guess. Well, at least this way I know how high my voice is. I could tell it's not that loud right now, but then it gets louder. Bam, there it is. See that? Welcome back. I hope you all are doing wonderful today. It's a rainy day here in California because of the storm. I realized now that some people are being affected by the hurricane or what have you, and I hope you all are safe and that you all are well. Today, I just want to come on here and make a few journals. Um, I got a couple of these papers. I want to try something new. I want to try to make a notebook with this cover on it. A few notebooks actually, and I want it to be sort of autumn vibes. So we're gonna put this one to the side, and I'm gonna make some with this. Erica's on the chat. Say hello as you're coming in, so I know who's on here, and so that everyone else can meet you. I'm gonna put this away too. And what I think I'm going to do is, I really like this green, and I really like the texture of this green. So I'm probably going to make this on the outside. And when you open the journal, it's going to be this green on the inside. That's what I want to do. And so that's what we're going to do. I want to say thank you to all of you who have been watching the videos recently. The channel has been hitting a few milestones, and I just want to say thank you so much for that, for taking the time to watch. Ugh, this is dirty dog hair. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Please remember not to forget to say hi. Say hello. And if you're joining us from the Leonardo Torres Music channel, please subscribe to our the other channel. It's Pen Meets World. It's a journaling channel where we talk about journaling, and we create journals like the ones that we're going to create today. Just a few notebooks. All I want to do is encourage you to journal, to get into a journaling habit. Why? Because I said so, and so just do it. I kid, of course. I'm just let me double check to make sure that this still works. Well, we'll find out. I have a tacky glue that I bought years ago, and I just found it. It still smells fine. It still looks fine. It doesn't look like it dried up or anything. So we're going to do that. I will cough from time to time. The family's getting over some like a cold thing. Ezekiel started it, and then it got Erica, then it got me, but it's still kind of lingering, and so that's why I sound a little bit congested, I guess you could say. Don't forget to say hello in the live chat, familia. If you're here, say hello. What we're doing here is we're going to add some glue to the back of this, and then we're going to glue this page on here and let it dry. And while that dries, we're going to cut up some paper, and then we're going to come back and cut this into 3 pieces. Yeah, it's more likely going to be 3 pieces. Eric Davis, what's up? Thank you so much for joining us, man. I miss you so much, man. Eric has been asking if I've been talking to you and the other Eric Björklund, and I keep saying like, no, I'm such a bad friend. I really am. Hello, I've been following your story for a few years now. Such an inspiration to love watching you enjoy music, Christian music. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I do want to take a moment to apologize for not having posted much on this channel, on the music channel lately. It's been challenging with that channel. That channel has been a lot of old songs that were allowed are now being not blocked, but I think people like Hillsong, they've been taking back their copyright claims. They allowed me to listen to them, they allowed me to play their music freely. And yes, the channel was generating some revenue with those videos. But lately, I've been getting a lot of emails saying copyright, including all of the videos for what's it called, for The Chosen. Yeah, they just got way too big now, and all their music is copyrighted, all the materials copyrighted. It's like it gets flagged constantly. So that channel is not doing so well with music. So I've been wanting. Been talking to Erica about it. Not sure if that's going to be it for that channel. I don't want it to be, but I was discussing that maybe I'll listen to not listen to the music, but do lyrics, like react to lyrics, or read off lyrics, do something with the lyrics where the music cannot be played, and then this way the channel could still kind of stay alive. I could still give you guys a little bit of content there, but because life gets kind of crazy, and ever since my father passed, I just I don't know, I just felt a little lost there. Lost in the sense that I don't know, I just didn't want to deal with a couple of things here. So I took a pause. I took a really long pause. But I still love seeing all the comments that come through every once in a while. So I'm just gonna add some glue here. And in case you're wondering, like, what the heck is Leo doing? Why is he not listening to music? I'm not listening to music here right now because I started another channel where I am journaling. I've always wanted to do that. In fact, a long time ago, I think I remember sharing my journaling channel with the music channel, and a lot of you followed. But I was so busy making those videos for the music channel that I was just like, journaling was just a private thing. I didn't really do much with it. And so lately, I've been journaling a lot because life has gotten, not crazy. I don't want to say it's gotten crazy. It just got interesting. It had a lot of downs and a lot of ups and a lot of downs and a lot of ups. And through all that, I needed to find a way to navigate through all the negativity and all the stuff that I am going through. And so journaling had been a real huge lifesaver. And then I was on another channel called, I think it's called Becoming Leo Torres, where it was my vlog, where I was just vlogging everything that I was going through. I was working in a restaurant in Pasadena with my friend who's a chef, and his partner ended up canceling their partnership, so I ended up losing that job. And for the last, since I think it was April, is that right, Erica? Since April, I have just been doing DoorDash and finding and looking for a way of surviving. And so that channel kind of started to fade out as well. I have another channel. Yes, I'm a YouTube, I don't know what you want to call it. I have a lot of channels. And I have another channel where I'm listening to metal music, and that channel was doing great. But I'm running into the same issues, copyright material. It's just not, it's not the way to go if you want to survive in YouTube. So I have to go with non-copyright material, which I think this is the best thing for me. It really is. And I've had a lot of fun making journals with you all online. and journaling. And then I've had a lot of great people just messaging me about how inspired they feel to start journaling. And I've heard a lot of great stories of people who are starting to journal, because the method that I have is very simple. I just keep it very simple, and a lot of people like that approach to journaling versus all the different crazy, not crazy, I don't want to talk crap about them, but all the different types of journaling styles that are out there are too complicated for some people. I'm not saying for all people. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then you have to kind of adapt a journaling style that does fit you. And sadly, what happens is we look at other people's journaling and we see how intricate they are and how awesomely creative they are, and how their spreads are so creative and so colorful, and then we're like, hey, I can do that too. And then we try, and it doesn't quite look like the one on YouTube, and so we start getting discouraged. And then we give it another week or two, and then before you know it, we end up quitting because we can't. We think of ourselves as not creative and not as insightful as other people. And it's like, no, I want to tell you that you can journal, you can create, you can't just journal, you can create your own journal, you can modify a journaling style to fit your personality, because there is a journaling style for everyone. And some of you are really creative, so those really creative journals are perfect for you. Some of you are not as creative, and so you're very practical, and so there's a practical journaling style for you out there as well. And so what I'm doing is I'm introducing people to all kinds of journaling styles and encouraging them to adopt other journaling types styles, and then modify them, change them up a little bit. I call it the Bruce Lee approach. The Bruce Lee approach being that you find something that you're kind of interested in, that you said, okay, cool, I like that. And then you find something else that you like and you're interested in, and you go, okay, cool, that's a great style. And then before you know it, you have a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then you take what's useful from each one and you discard what's not useful. And that's the idea here. We're going to take what's helpful, what's useful, and we're going to throw away what's not. And then, before you know it, you have your own unique style, just to show you all the different types of stuff that I work with. For example, I teach people how to make these notebooks it's an accordion notebooks, right? But I show you how to make them. And then you journal. And then once you're done, guess what? You're not done. You have more on the back. And this makes it very flexible because you can add pockets. Watch, let me show you the one that I have in my pocket now. I have this one here. It's Liquid Death. It's a brand and a drink. And then I have junk journaling. I have my own, private journaling. Here's a pocket, with a few QR codes and stuff. So when I'm out and about, I'm grabbing quotes from books, from movies, from people, from YouTube videos, and then I just keep it going. So that journal is that way. And then I have we made this journal on the channel. It's a community journal, right? It's just I'm taking quotes from people. So if you guys would like to share a few quotes with me later, I'll take some quotes and I'll add them to the community journal. That's a really great journal to have. And then the day before yesterday, because my journaling style has changed. The day before yesterday, I made a traveler's journal. I just posted a video this morning about how I modified that, how I added these holes and then changed the elastic to a wax thread. And here I'm keeping two separate journals in one. I've been looking into Leonardo da Vinci's style of journaling, and I like that he would carry loose pages and then journal. And in his journaling, afterwards, someone took all his journals and then made them into a codex, into a book. So what I'm looking to do with this is I'm going to journal. And as you can see, I'm almost halfway through this journal, and it's been 2 days. And I've been journaling with like sketches, and I've been adding a few personal thoughts, some things that I wanted to do with the journal. And then drew, I had pizza. I drew the piece of pizza. And then here's the layout of my idea. It's on my journal. It's this. And then eventually when I have a few signatures, I'm going to bind them together into one book and then put them away. But this allows me to take my journal everywhere with me and just document and fill more of these up faster. It's not about racing, about doing it, but at least it doesn't intimidate me by having, the whole book to fill out. I can finish this one and then start a new one. And then it's, very loose. There's no structure really to it. I mean, there is a structure, but it's in the form of Bruce Lee. It's like a form without form. It's style without style. And then, I get to take this with me everywhere. I might shrink this down, but I want to finish this at least. And then on one book, I'm writing, just my personal stuff. And then in this one, it's a business that I'm developing. All my ideas for the business are going in here. So I take this book with me. And then if I have more ideas, I can just replace this, because this comes out. I can pull this out and then just replace this and just continue journaling without having to carry the whole journal itself. Just carry a few signatures at a time. And then later on, I will bind the book, which I've done, by the way. It's my last book that I bound was beautiful. So I really love these little journals. I want to make a couple of these small ones today, but that's where I'm at right now. Let me see. Let me see a few comments here. Let's see. Finite. If you allow me saying this, I started about investments and financial freedom, but you made me realize how much I like having podcasts and hosting others, as I believe I can learn so much. Great. Do it, man. That's why my name here, Finite to Freedom. Cool. And if you would want, then I would be honored hosting you on a podcast. Sure. Just send me an email. I'll be happy to. Just please let me know what it's about and what would you like to talk about, because I don't know anything about financial freedom. So obviously, no, not yet, but I will learn obviously a lot. So yeah, I'll be happy to. Just shoot me an email. Hi, from Scotland. I haven't seen your videos for a while. I'm not great at navigating YouTube, so it's nice to see you're back. Just wanted to say hello and God bless. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, definitely send me an email for that. Let me see, am I missing any other ones? Especially your message. Oh, hang on. About Jesus, when you said about put both hands together, and when he said, may I, from the chosen, such a beautiful message. There's a lot of great messages in that show. And I would have loved to have continued watching it, but again, without their permission, I cannot post any of their clips anymore, because, well, I don't want to get sued. That's a thing that people don't understand. And I'm still getting messages of people asking me to be quiet and watch the show. And it's like, you don't understand the idea behind what it is that I'm doing. It's a reaction. Reactions don't require you to be quiet. Otherwise it would just be a watch, like what you call it? It would be a watch party. And I wasn't hosting watch parties. So from time to time, I still have to respond to some of those, but I guess I don't have to. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, 7, 8. Let's do 8 sheets. 8 sheets. We're going to set all of them aside, and I'm going to take 1 sheet of paper to cut in half. Anybody else out there journaling, uses journals? I'm just curious to what makes you come to journaling. I recently had a comment, someone I just absolutely loved their comment. They were talking about how their mother had passed away. and as they were passing away, they were finding notes that her mom had left everywhere. And the reason why I say I love it, not because her mom passed, that's sad, and but because she said that her mom wasn't much of a journaler. She didn't have a journal per se, but she did write notes with loose paper wherever she had. So all over the house when they passed away and they were cleaning out her stuff, they were finding all kinds of notes, all kinds of stories of their youth. And she said that was like the greatest gift that she and her siblings received, was all these stories that they had forgotten about, that her mom documented and just left laying around. So it was just like these little treasures that they were finding around the house. And see, I love that. I love that. It's that feeling that I got when little clips of my grandfather were coming out, where he was like playing music in a movie in Mexico. You know, my grandpa was a background musician for movies. I didn't know that when he was living. I mean, I heard an uncle of mine mentioned it briefly, but I didn't know, because it's like, why didn't I know about this before? And how come you're not showing me a clip? Like, we just know this about my grandpa, but don't, you know, we aren't we aren't going to, we're not going to talk about it. Like, we're just, you know, we're just going to treat that casually, and then we're finding movies and stuff, and it's great. I'm speaking in LA in Feb. I hope we can get, yes, February. Just give us the date, and we'll meet. But I love hearing stories like that again, because my grandfather left a lot of great photos of him playing music, and the only thing that was missing were like letters. That would have been great for us to find, right? For us to discover that he had, you know, little notes about his life. We would have known him better. 1, 2, let's see, how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it. All right, cool. And that would have been awesome to have, you know, these letters or notebooks talking about his time when he sang on the radio. You know, he was from the era where if they wanted music, they had live music in radios in Guadalajara. And that would have been great to know, like, how he got that gig or how it went. You know, he traveled with a circus, I guess, at some point. The other night, my mom was telling me that when she was a kid, a circus hired them to perform. And while the clowns were doing all their stuff, they were just playing polkas and playing all kinds of stuff. And it's like, man, that's great things. Those are great things to know about all of that, you know? What kind of music was he playing? Mexico is such a great culture. Thank you. My grandfather was playing what they were called boleros, but he had a little bit of everything, every genre in Spanish. This doesn't feel like it's dry yet, but we're gonna cut it anyway. And if we have to glue it later, we'll glue it, whatever. Or should I wait? I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. We're just gonna make a few journals using, here it is. Using some of this. I'm almost out of these, but I'm just gonna make a couple of brown ones. Should I make it in brown? No, we're gonna make it in, let's make an orange one. Why not? I'm gonna make a brown one and an orange one. Let's see. So for now, we're gonna take this one. We're gonna fold this one in half. I mean, that would have been great to see my grandfather, or have some pictures, like more photos, because we did discover a few photos and they were great. There's a photo of him sitting with like a long table, a huge table, and it was like 20 something musicians. And there was a competition in Guadalajara for like a guitarist competition, and my grandfather won first place. And he was like in his 20s. He looked so young. He was like super thin, and he looked incredibly young. And he won. He won the competition. And just, man, those little things, it would have been great to hear, like to also have some kind of journal where he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about joining this thing, and I might just do it," and then say, "Here it is. Today's the day where I'm going to play against all these other musicians. Hope I win." And then, a follow up. Today was a great day. I won a battle of the guitarists. Right? That'd be awesome. That would have been awesome. But sadly, there wasn't any documentation. That's why I'm documenting a lot. There was also somebody else who reminded me of, I don't know if you all have ever watched the show The Bear. They pointed out that there's this part where Richie is talking to a chef, and they're sort of bonding over military. She said something about military, and the Richie was like, "Oh, are you ex-military?" And she was like, "No, my dad was." And then it goes, "Oh, okay." And they started talking, and then Richie asked if the chef had a good relationship with her mom, and she said, yeah, the mom was like her best friend. And then he said, "Okay, what about your dad?" And he said, "No, not my dad, not so much." And then he's like, "Oh, sorry." And she said, "No, that's okay." She goes, I learned more about my dad after he passed, because when he passed, we were cleaning out his stuff, and we found journals, and he left a bunch of stories with great details on, like when he was out in the military and he saw the ocean that was like purple or something. There was an entry where there was a purple sea, and she said that she learned more about him through his journals than she did in real life. And I think that's great, because sometimes we have a relationship with a person and we think we know them, and sometimes those relationships are great, and other times the relationship isn't so great. But then what ends up happening is, when they pass and they move on, and we find their journals, we can see for ourselves what kind of person they really were, because that's where they left their personal entries, their thoughts, their emotions, and maybe even a backstory to something you thought you knew the full story to, but they didn't want to share, maybe, or they didn't want to involve you because you're a child, or say maybe they didn't want to burden you with with that information, but they wrote it down, and then you find out, oh man, my dad was just being extra patient, and or oh man, my dad was just quiet, but we all thought he was a villain, but in the end, it just so happens that we were looking at it that way because he didn't want to taint our perception, right? I mean, I just made that up, but I mean, it can be true. Life is hard. Life is hard, and for that, it's great to journal. It's great to have a journal somewhere where we can put our thoughts down, and then maybe read back later, and grow. Why not? I'm going to make this 3.5. So you can cut this any size you want. I could leave it in 4 and have like a bigger booklet, or I can do 3.5, and then it'll be like the size of field notes book, probably. I'll compare it in just a minute. I got a package the other day from a subscriber who sent over a few field notes books for me. And now after seeing that, I can see why people love field notes. Sounds great. I mean, they look great. They look great. They feel great. And then plus Aaron Draplin is the founder. I love his story, and I love the reason why he brought those little notebooks back. Oh, look how beautiful that is, man. I don't know. I love things like this. Stationery. I'm going to save this. It's not hoarding. If you use it, and it will get used, trust, it will get used. So here's a little notebook, little blank book with just regular writing paper. This is copy paper. So this is more for like a pencil, you know. And I like that color. It stands out actually. All right, so we're going to trim off a little bit in the bottom as well, just so that everything can be even Steven. I've seen photos of my dad when he was working. Let me see. Let me make this bigger. Let's see. I've seen photos of my dad when he was working on ships in Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. I've only spent time with him like 1% of my real life, but God wanted it that way. Oh, man, that's tough. But you know, we just don't know, familia. We don't know what a person's going through in life. We think we do. We think it's easy for us to say, oh, my dad should have done this, my dad should have done that, or he could have done better, and maybe that's true. Maybe they could have done better. But who are we? Who are we to judge, especially our parents? They're you know, we get older, and then we are met with life, and we don't know how to handle ourselves, you know, because our dad didn't teach us how to handle life, how to deal with the issues of life. Maybe they weren't there. Maybe they didn't defend us. Maybe they weren't, you know, helpful in that area. But if we stop and think about it, maybe neither was their dad. You know, may my dad rest in peace. He wasn't there for me, and if I look at it from from my perspective, he abandoned me. He preferred to be out drinking and to be, you know, out with other women. He didn't care for me. He never bothered, all that other stuff. But then I look at his history, and I'm not making excuses for him, but you know, his dad was a drunk, and his dad was unkind to his mom, and he had promised that he was not going to drink and that he was not going to be unkind to his wife when he met her. But our conditioning is powerful. It's incredibly powerful. And it's one thing to say something, and it's a different thing to do it. And I guess my dad couldn't do it. He couldn't stay away from all that. So he did what was expected of someone who grew up with that kind of conditioning. And so you know, when he got older and finally had a relationship with me, he phoned me, and I gave him an opportunity to say a few things, and he apologized. He said, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I could have been a better dad. I could have been there more for you. But you know, it's youth stuff. You know, when you're young, you're dumb. You have your head's, you know, not in the right place. And you know, when he was older, he realized that, and I think it's good that he realized that afterwards. From that moment forward, it was a clean slate, and we started working on our relationship. There was a time where I didn't want anything to do with him. There was a time where I was like, I went as far as to say that I hated him. I hate that man. He's nothing to me. If he ever passes away, I wouldn't even bother going, because he's nothing to me. He didn't care about me. And that was just me closing my heart out to the pain that would have caused me. But you know, like you say, God has other plans. You know, the Great Spirit brought him back to me. He apologized. He wanted to build a better relationship with me. We got a chance to see each other again, and a few other things happened that were just really strange looking back. But when he passed, we were both at peace, and I was there in his last moment. And when he was hospitalized, I was the one that spent the very last night that he was here. You know, I spent the last night with him. and it was great. I wish that he would have met my children, but that's not that's not the way that it went down. And I had to really dig deep for that to really sink in and make sense for me, because it was hard. I was battling with a lot of stuff. I was battling mostly with myself. But again, who am I to judge my father and his life choices? I thankfully, when I made that promise and I said I'm not going to drink and I'm not going to be abusive, I kept my promise. My dad couldn't, and I mean, it's not okay, but it is okay, because we're influenced by our environment and by people and by the harsh things that happen to us in the world. And a lot of the times when we're influenced by those things, we have no power whatsoever to stop them. They just happened. I mean, they just happen. And sometimes the human mind goes from one trance to another, whether you believe in that or not. We're constantly moving from one trance to another. What do I mean by that? We are constantly moving from one position or one way of looking at life to another way of looking at life. And sometimes we're asleep. We are asleep in our own minds, and we think we have it all down. We think that we're operating correctly, and it just so happens that we're not. We're not operating correctly. We're in a trance. We're asleep. We're hypnotized by something or someone, and we make decisions that we regret. All of us do. It's like that when we're in our youth, we think we're invincible, and we think that we know it all. We want to move out because we know better than our parents. And what does my mom know? She doesn't know anything. I just want to live, and I want to be free, and I want this, and I want that. And then we make choices, and those choices are sometimes they affect us. Other times they affect us, our family, and our future, our kids, our children. And we make mistakes, and then sometimes we don't know how to deal with um, the consequences of our decisions, and we fall into another trance where we start escaping, and we start looking for things that will help us cope, and that will help us escape rather than cope with our issue. And so that's why we go into drugs and violence and all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I do 7 or 8? I did 8. Huh? Let me see. There's one extra somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I miscounted. Let's see. 100% agree. Besides, God said, love your parents with all your heart. So I stopped judging him and learned from his mistakes. I have learned so much from your videos, Leonardo. Thank you for everything. Oh, man, no. I mean, I appreciate you thanking me, man. But oh, man, you learned because you paid attention, because you cared enough to pay attention. And I think that's lacking in a lot of people. They don't care enough to pay close attention. And you care about yourself, you care about your growth, you care about your well-being, and so you're paying attention. And you don't know, but people just say things, and you hear it at the right time. That's it. That's a big one too. Sometimes we're not ready. We'll hear a message, and we're in our 20s, and we're in that phase where we think we know everything, and then it doesn't. It just goes right by us. But then other times we hear it again in our 40s, and it's like, oh man, and then you think back and you're like, how stupid. I should have realized that when I was younger. And that's what it is. It's the race to figure it out as soon as you possibly can, so you're not 60 barely starting over. And that's what I'm trying to avoid here. My dad was drinking too, and that's why I'm not. It's good to hear your relationship with your dad was getting better. Yeah. And don't let that discourage you, or don't let that make you think like, man, I wish it would have been that way. It panned out the way that it had to pan out for both of you. Thankfully, I forgave my dad. I was there when he was buried. I'm really grateful that that happened. But if that wouldn't have happened, I think I would be here today, trying to cope and trying to, um, you know, figure it out, figure out a way to be better. There's no other option. We have to move towards being better, and there's always an answer to that. There's always a way to move towards being better. And well, it's our job. It's our responsibility. Otherwise, what ends up happening is that we become like children, and we start showing patterns of behavior that end up affecting our partners, our parents, our loved ones. And it's not their responsibility to deal with us. We have issues, so we're acting a fool, and they're suffering the consequences of us drinking and us doing all these stuff. And I'm not trying to judge anyone who drinks. Okay. Like, I know plenty of people, you can drink around me. I have no issue with you drinking. I'm saying, like, cause like the other day, my brother showed up, he had been drinking and he's happy. he was happy. And I loved that for him. Like, I was really happy for him because he looked just super happy. And so, it's only an issue when you start becoming other people's problem, when it becomes a problem for other people. When you're sitting there and your kids are watching you, destroy the TV or punch holes in the wall, or, and again, I'm not judging. Okay. I'm just telling you, I grew up with that. I grew up with that nonsense. And, I don't think anybody should. I don't think anybody should grow up with that. But I'm saying, if you grew up that way, also understand, your parents are doing the best that they can with what they have. And that's the message here. The message is that we're using journaling. We're using journaling to help us grow, and we're using journaling to help us move beyond our limitations, so that we can be responsible people as best as we can be responsible people. Is that right? Is that right or what? I'm gonna make a little mark here at 2 3/4. So I can staple this correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be off. I mean, I can trim it, but I'd rather not if I can avoid it. But yeah, that's the thing. I think that's right. I'm just going to add the staples here. I'm sorry about the noise here as I'm stapling. My mic is on my desk, so you're going to hear the stapler, but I apologize. All right, cool. Yeah, that was kind of right on the money. So I'm going to actually leave a mark here. I'm going to mark it. Where's my marker, my Sharpie? All right. Just mark that on here so I know where my stapler needs to be. But that's it. We're all in this together, and we're all trying to grow. We're all aiming for the same thing. We're trying to be happy. We're trying to survive. Some of us are surviving, some of us are thriving, and others are suffering. And I find that journaling is a great way of navigating. Well, this is the first time I actually do it this way. Sorry to change it up on you, but I usually fold the paper first and then staple. And I realized that it's always going to be crooked. But today I decided to try something new. And it works, since I'm going to be trimming here, so it doesn't matter if the paper's uneven. I'm still going to trim it on this side, so this works out well, actually. Good job, Leonardo. I just, give myself a little credit here, give myself a little love. And that's also another thing, you just being patient with yourself, being kind to yourself. That's where a lot of people struggle. They don't know how to be nice to themselves. They're always mean. They're always criticizing themselves. They're always judging themselves harshly. And a lot of times, sadly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what it is. I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You're hard on yourself, and ready? It's not even your voice. It's not your voice that's being harsh on you. It's always the echoes of somebody else who was angry and took it out on you and said something stupid like, God, you're such an idiot. God, you're so useless. You don't know how to do anything. And so in your head, you develop the voice, and that voice says, God, you're such an idiot. You're useless. You're so dumb. You never pay attention. You don't know how to do anything. You suck. You're a failure. And you think it's you. You think it's your voice. It's not. It's not your voice. That is not your voice. That's an echo of somebody else's voice, somebody else's limitation that they wanted to pose on you because they themselves were limited. So there's an innocent kid who doesn't know any better that they decided they were going to dump all their emotional on because they didn't have a journaling practice that would help them keep them, straight. But you know better. You know better. Come on. You know better. That's all that is. Hey, Finite to Freedom. Thank you so much, man, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. That's all it is. Let's see. Everything happens for a reason. I agree with you. I'm 32 and I am still learning. I think it was meant for me to see your videos from the Chosen One and learn from you and the videos. Come on over to the journaling channel. I just decided to go on here and journal. And do a live here just to let you all know about the other channel. So come on and join me on the other channel. It's Pen Meets World. You'll see it. Yeah, there's a link in the description, I think. But I'm 42. I'm about to be 43. I'm still learning. And I can promise you, my grandfather, when he was 84, when he was still alive, he said the same thing to me. He goes, I'm still learning. It's never ending. It never ends. It's dumb to think that you know everything or that you know something and then that's it, that you're done. It's like if I knew how to make this book, right? And I thought, cool, well then I know how to do everything. And everything there is to know about this book, not just journaling, but these books. And it's like, no, because tomorrow there's going to be a new tool that's going to make it faster, that's going to fold them better, that's going to, round out these corners faster. And if I think that is all there is to know, I'm not going to adapt to whatever comes, however this thing is evolving. I'm not going to be able to learn because I already started believing that I know everything or that I'm done learning. It's a never ending journey. United in Love, Jesus. I have often watched and enjoyed you quite some time, maybe years back. Greetings from Germany. Hey, thank you so much. Glad to hear you again. Thanks. It feels good to be here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely glad I could join in. I will join the other channel too. I can see the value and I'm grateful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. What I'm looking for on this channel, on the journaling channel, is to show you all like how easy it is to journal, how easy it is to make your own books if you wanted to go that route. Because imagine, like, I think we've stepped really far from the purpose of journaling, and we see someone with their beautiful spreads, and I'm not knocking it because they're creative people and it comes easy to them. But for someone who it may not come easy to, you'll see their journals and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. You want to try it. and then you realize you're not as creative because the main reason why you're not as creative is because you haven't put in the work. This takes time. They didn't get creative overnight. They drew. They never stopped drawing since they were kids, and that's why it looks, that's why their art looks great. You have to put in the practice. So if you get discouraged and then you quit, well, you won't be that good. But if you stick with it, you can be that good. But maybe you don't have the time to make all these beautiful types of journals, and you're very limited in time. And so I want to show you what you could do with limited time, and I want to show you what you could do to help yourself and to grow and to make it so that you gain insight into the one person that you've lived with since your birth, and that who you're going to live with till the moment that you pass, and that's you. And sadly, a lot of people know more about other things, about some Instagram, or TikTok influencer. They know more about their life, about how they started, about how, who their parents are and their journey and all that stuff, but they know nothing about themselves, nothing. And that makes me sad, because when you run into issues, that person's not going to help you, including me. I'm not going to help you. You have to figure out a way to help yourself. And the only way to help yourself is to know yourself. And the best way to do that, I don't care that these are not, aligned. I could take the time to align them, but I really don't care. I hope, maybe this one's not going to be one that I sell eventually, because I am thinking about selling these eventually. So maybe the ones that are too crooked, I won't. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that it's the most important thing that you could do is to know yourself. You don't believe me? Try not knowing anything about yourself, and see how much trouble you get into when your anger goes unchecked, when you don't realize why you're so sensitive in your anger, when you don't know why you're insecure, when you don't know why you are afraid of trying anything new, when you realize you could have learned something new and you stopped yourself because you adopted somebody else's belief about you, who told you were stupid, or who told you couldn't do something because of the color of your skin, or because of where you grew up, or anything stupid like that. What those people are saying is, I can't do it, and so because I can't do it, you can't either. Well, that's a bunch of crap. Craig says, I need one of those staplers. Yeah, you do, actually. You do. I agree with you. I like using the other staplers. I'll show you this. I've had it for years, actually, because a long time ago, actually, I'll go into that story. A long time ago, I needed one of these little books. I needed one. And because I had gotten into film photography. And with film photography, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to need to write stuff down. And so I needed a book where I could write, like exposure 1, what the aperture was, what the weather was like. So I'd write like, exposure 1, building, that I shot a building, and it was at noon and it was sunny. My ISO, I put an ISO for that roll up here. So ISO 200 or 100, whatever. And then aperture blank, aperture this, speed, shutter speed this. And then the next exposure, I expose, write it all down. And then when I got the actual prints, I said, oh, this one was overexposed. Oh, this one was underexposed. Okay, so the next time when it's sunny, I'm going to change this. And then, or when it's cloudy, I'll just lower this number or raise this number, whatever the case may be. And it was a way for me to go back and read my notes, compare, and then grow. And then the next set, I do the same thing. And then I started noticing that I started trusting myself a little bit more, and I no longer needed the notebook, or I no longer needed to write everything down. Only every once in a while where I was like, oh, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna document it so that I I can be sure in the future in case I ever need to get an important shot. I don't want to miss the exposure. So I made my own little notebook out of a stapler that was this size. But then there was a point where I needed a stapler that could handle thicker, more paper. So I bought this one, and I got it because I thought that at some point I'm going to need to go deeper and, staple something that was, I don't know, maybe I needed to go this far into a piece of paper. And so this allows me to go, as you can see, pretty far in. And then it has this cursor that you move. I made a note here. These notebooks the center is like right here, but there's a 4 1/4 for the other notebook. And so all I need to do is just move this white thing over to that 4 1/4, set the paper, staple, and I don't have to measure every single time. But yeah, it's a great stapler. I recommend it for sure. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so whatever you see, you could purchase. I don't have a link, but you can get it on Amazon. I think they're like, I don't know, I want to say anywhere between $15 to $25, depending on how sturdy and you want it. I mean, you can buy a $50 one if you wanted to, but I don't think you need it unless you're planning on making a bunch of these. Brittany Culp. Hey, Brittany. Glad to see you on here. I know that Erica is always talking to you and about your baby. And she every once in a while she'll fill me in on your baby. I feel like this. I hope I can make a community similar like this one. The joy and the power of community like this can change the world. Thanks so much. Plus, I really like when people make things themselves and share stories. Yeah. So, Finite. I say, I'm good. How are you? And she's definitely not a baby. I know. I say baby, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But in fact, we'll be a big sister. Really? Congratulations. That's awesome. That's great. Congratulations. Don't give Erica any ideas, okay? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I know our baby boy is not a baby boy anymore. He's such a big kid now, but I feel you on that. But Finite, listen, put people first. I tell you that from experience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll tell you that from experience. Put people first. If you're going to make some channel or something, you put people first and you can't go wrong. People are going to always feel that you are interested in them, or if you're interested in yourself or interested in money, or fame or whatever, what have you. And if you genuinely want to help people, let that lead you. So here on this channel, I'm letting my curiosity lead, and I'm curious about how things work. And so I'm just documenting that. I document, how to build something. And then somebody else out there is like, cool, I needed that. And then they go and build it. And then they come back and say, hey man, I really like that. It worked out really well for me. Thank you so much for posting it. And that's all I wanted. That's really literally all I want, is to receive the types of comments that I've been receiving lately, and the people who say, hey, you really encouraged me to start journaling again. Why am I so interested in that? Because I know that the person who's journaling is interested in being better. And by them being better, every time they go out into the street, they're better people. They are better people to their kids. They're better people, which means that when their kids go out, they're better people too, because they had someone who showed them kindness. And so it spreads that way, and I want people to really be invested in themselves and really care about themselves enough to say, hey, I want to change this. I know, excuse me, I no longer want to live this way. I no longer want to, whatever. I no longer want to be reactive. I want to respond to situations. I no longer want to be impatient. I want to have patience. So I'm going to start working on my patience. So journaling, what helps, what doesn't help. Who am I? Who would I be? Who can I be if I allowed myself to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be. The best. There's a best version of you in you right now that's waiting to come out. But I don't know if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks about every decision that we make we're casting a vote. We're voting. There's a version of you that could be out here, helping people and being the best to people. But I'm not saying this about you specifically, right? But you're choosing to do something else. You're choosing to be mean and impatient, and that's a vote. That's a vote to the unkind version of you. That's a vote for that person. And so that vote, if that person gets the most votes, they're the ones out here, interacting with people. They're the ones that are out here, representing you. And so either people are going to have a good vision of you, a good image of you, or they're going to have a bad image of you. And that choice is yours, amigo. That's totally up to you and the votes that you're casting. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that aside here. And I'm going to make a few small ones first. So I'm going to cut, since I already have my stapler set for the smaller one, I'm going to make 2 small ones, and then I'm going to make the big one. But yeah, you're due in 5 days. Are you kidding me? Why didn't Erica know about this or tell me about this? Let's see. I absolutely agree with you. Money have no value, but people can really make a difference. I thought it was a negative thing, being kind, because people didn't appreciate me. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I'm on the same boat. You can ask Erica every once in a while. I'm in the same thing. I ask her that same question. Like, what's the point to being kind if everyone is not going to, if no one appreciates it? What's the point to being kind if you're only going to see my flaws? What's the point? And well, the point is being kind is the right thing to do. That's it. There's no other answer. It's the right thing to do, regardless of how it's received. It's not for them. It's for you. You're being nice, not for them. You're being nice for you, because that says a lot about who you are. Being kind. Kindness is about you, my friend. Now that I think about it, I like that I'm using these as a to size up, the size of the paper. So I'm just going to save those brown sheets and use them for that reason. Yeah, I love that there are people who are excited, about journal making, notebook, or making their own notebooks and taking them with them. On Instagram, there's a couple of people who have shared. You can visit me on Instagram, Pen Meets World, and you'll see there. I've shared a couple of people's notebooks that they've made, and they're just so clever. And they're making them out of Taco Bell boxes and macaroni boxes and all kinds of stuff, and that makes me very happy. All right, let's try to get these straight. So I'm gonna try to align this paper here, and then align this sheet on this side. Actually, I think I'm only gonna do 2. Two for the small ones. I think that should be fine. We'll see. And as you can see, I didn't need to move anything on the stapler. I just placed it, staple it. And it doesn't matter that the paper went a little bit crooked. I could clip it maybe so that it doesn't move in that process, but it's fine. Again, we're going to trim the 3 sides anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. That's about okay, Brittany. Thanks so much for stopping by, and good luck with everything, with your labor. I hope it's smooth and quick and painless, or least painful. This, by the way, bone folders, definitely a must-have. Definitely a must-have. Oh, sorry. I was just informed that you're due. I didn't read it well. You're actually due March. Sorry. I thought you were doing 5 days. I misread that. I didn't finish reading it. Sorry. Good to see you. Sorry. Erica had to come in here and like, hey, chickity check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. Yeah. Beautiful work here, if I may say so myself. And if I may not, oh well, I said it. But yeah, the journaling channel is growing beautifully. I've gotten a lot of great responses from people. Same people all over the world. Who knows what other beautiful things we can do with that channel. I'm really just working on these journals so that I can have things to share with you all, little moments like this where we can talk about life and why we journal. Sadly, there are not enough men that are journaling. There's a lot of men who they don't see the point to journaling. They don't see the why they should journal. They think it's girly, or that it's for women to talk about your feelings. But hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something to you, with all due respect. Okay? Because a lot of men say, "Oh no, no feelings, and gotta put away your feelings. That's a girly stuff. Feelings, that's women stuff." But let me tell you something. That little moment, that little episode that you have when you're angry and you toss things, that's an emotion. You're being emotional. And the worst kind of emotion, the kind that's not controlled. That's not controlled. And so think about what you say before you say it. Oh, look, these are coming out different sizes. I cut this one longer, taller, slightly taller. Should I leave it? No, I gotta cut it. I gotta trim it down. I'm gonna trim it down just a little bit. I like to keep everything almost machine-like. Might be a little bit taller or a little bit shorter. I don't know, but that's okay. Ooh, I gotta watch my thumb. I almost got my thumb. Do I need thumbs? I think I do. Huh? Yeah. I moved my ruler, and now everything's gonna be crooked. Yep, I'm good. There you go. Now they're the same. The same-ish. I never even checked the size of this one. This orange one is a little tall too. Let's chop it. And as you can see, look, I just want to show you, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 journals or 4 notebooks here while we were on this live, just to show you how easy it is for you to just, you don't have to go buy one. I mean, you can buy one, shout out to all those beautiful notebooks that are out there made already, that you could just go to Michael's and buy one. But you can also go to the garage or your office, grab a few pieces of paper from the printer, grab a cardstock or a box of cereal, and make a journal. You make one. Make one. I dare you. I dare you to make one. Make another green one? Yeah, let's make another green one. Why not? And just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to show you what I meant when I said I could clip it. So I'm going to clip here. Actually, make sure that it's lined up first. Clip up here first, and then clip down here. Bring my stapler. Oh, it's got to be over here this way. There it is. And then here. There it is. 2 staples. The paper didn't move. Still looks a little crooked on this side, but again, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. That's how easy this is, and how calm I want you to be when you're doing things like this. Like, I want you to just look, enjoy yourself. Say, hey, I made this. This book was made by me. It was made by me for me. So it's got a little bit of crookedness. So it's got a little bit of whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm going to put in here. And what matters is what I'm going to put in here. That's what matters. Not the way that it looks, right? So somebody just pointed out this morning, like they said, hey, you encouraged me to get rid of all my pretty notebooks and to get down to the core of what it is to, to journal. And that's to journal. We forgot about the journaling part. And they said that they wanted to focus more on exploring themselves. That's great. Here, I'm just eyeballing it. The size of this thing. Oh, I think I had cut more than that, maybe, but we'll see. And you'll see me go over it a couple of times because I don't want to cut it in one go. I want to do multiple passes because this ensures that I'm going to cut it straight, and it ensures that the ruler will not move. And I want to avoid that over everything else. I want to avoid moving the ruler and then having a really crooked line. I'm okay if that happens because I could just keep it for myself and then use it because I don't mind the crookedness. But somebody might be like, hey, this thing's all lopsided. I guess what I'm trying to do is get rid of that critical voice in my head, Ivan, what's up? So yesterday, Ivan, I have to tell you, I was replacing one of my Micron pens with one of the fountain pens that you gave me. And I really wanted to use this blue one. But as you can see, it started to leak. I don't know if you can help me figure out how to stop that, but it looks like it's leaking from that right in this area. I don't know what I did. I hope I didn't break it. So I used in my everyday carry is this one because I really like those. Location yellow teal. Oh, that's yeah. It had an accident. Don't worry, I'm okay. All right, cool. Look, so we just did these. We're talking about making journals and really just enjoying ourselves making these journals and why we journal. And also, there's a Discord community. You just reminded me because Ivan's really active in there. There's a Discord where you can go and share your tools and your creations with other people. And so far, right now, that's all we're doing on there. It's just everybody's just sharing, what tools they're using. If they're making any journals, they're sharing pictures of that. Sharing our favorite pens. Oh, fountain pens leak sometimes, but the reasons can. Oh man! All right. Well, I didn't do anything to it really. After I made the video, I put them away, and then yesterday, I decided I was going to swap my my pen. And when I grabbed it, I wrote on it a little bit, and I noticed that my finger was stained, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened? Got a little set of notebooks here, mini notebooks. Let's make a big one now. All right, we're gonna make one more big one, and then, or a medium-sized one, and then we're gonna make one with the paper that we glued to see how that's gonna turn out. Because I really do have my heart set on making a bunch of these and then selling them. Not sure how that's all gonna go down yet, because I don't have a website. So if anybody has any great ideas, cheap ideas, meaning I don't want to have to pay Etsy to do any transactions for me, I'm taking ideas. All right, so we're gonna set our, I guess it really doesn't matter if it's exact or not because we're gonna trim it anyway, but we're setting it to 4 1/4, 4 inches and 1/4, and then we're bringing our paper in. There's one. Let me make this one first so I can more or less guess the middle. I hand sew a book, and I really like that. I'm a fan of the sewing. I really do want to just get the practice in so that I can eventually sew all the signatures together, and that's the goal. This is way easier to just staple it first and then fold. If you're trimming. If you're not trimming, this is not a good idea, you see? You want to fold first and then get the center, and then cross your fingers and hope that you actually staple it right on the center. But if you're going to trim, then it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll send you a picture of it, Ivan, for sure. All right, we're going to measure this 3 1/2. And then maybe later I can figure out how I can salvage some of this paper, because it hurts to cut off like strips and just toss them in the trash. But if I have to, I have to. Oh well. Let me just measure twice, cut once. It's really relaxing. It's like it's raining. I'm making journals, talking to people. I love it. And you get to see live how long one of these books takes, so you can see, hey, I hope that you're like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna try it. And you grab a paper and just go make some. So I kind of want to make them the same size. So finite to freedom. You can make the paper you cut for bookmarks or design that. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like I was thinking of doing that with the books that I'm binding, because I removed the soft cover, And I'm like, okay, I can use the soft cover to glue it onto another piece of cardstock, and then use that as a note, as a bookmark for that book, with its own with its own cover as a design. So that's a good idea. Take one of those little, and then make a little bookmark. That's true. Is it me, or is it getting hungry in here? I think it's getting hungry. I love the rainy days. We don't get a lot of them in the desert. Oh man, tell me about it. Well, we're kind of desert, but when we get rain here, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous rain. Like, you can't go anywhere because every street is flooded. It's just so crazy and unnecessary. And it's like, who designed these streets, man? And then for sure, I was telling Erica this morning, I go, you know what? Tomorrow, we're going to just have a bunch of new potholes. So we got to be careful when we drive anywhere tomorrow. And look at that. It's great. So far we've done these. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Got these. I'm not sure. Yeah, but we'll see. We will see. Da-da-da-da. Okay, cool. So now on to, I gotta make the paper for it first. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. Okay. Oh, there's more here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are gonna have 10. I hope I know what I'm doing. Let's see. What kind of food is your favorite? See the comment below yours. Tacos. I love tacos. Anytime we make anything like here and we eat like anything, the next day it's like, just turn it into a taco and I'll take it. So it's like chicken, well, except for the pastas, right? But heck, I'll even have spaghetti and tacos if I can. 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 2 in here. 8, 9, and 10. Got it. It will sound weird, but I've never had tacos. What? I hate onions and stuff. Okay, that's fine. You can have them without onions. I totally understand that. I used to have them without onions when I was a kid. And I'm not saying you're being childish or anything like that, but I used to have them like that. And then I added just a little bit, like 1 or 2 pieces in there of onion. And then I realized, hey, onion really adds like a little bit of a different flavor. If you can go for red onion, it's a little better in flavor. I have a friend who has a cooking channel. I can give you a link. He's a trained chef and he does pickled onions, and it's actually pretty good. And you can ask Erica, I hate onions. So like, I won't have them in a burger and I won't have them in a lot of foods, but there's some foods, like weirdly enough, like a salad, I'll have onion. I have a red onion in, and then in my friend's tacos, he makes tacos de birria. So it's a Mexican dish made with goat, and so delicious, man. So delicious. And he puts the pickled onions in there, and they're not too bad. Just add enchiladas suizas. Oh, it's getting more hungry in here now. Enchiladas suizas. When I worked at the restaurant with Erica, there was a guy there that would make me some shrimp enchiladas with the green salsa. Oh my God, they were amazing. Amazing. Anyways, we're gonna use this. So I'm gonna cut this down. And we're going to make 3 notebooks out of this. 1 medium-sized and 2 small. And then who knows, maybe later I'll have a company printing some of these, like the covers for me. You never know. You never know. Oh, shrimp enchiladas? Ooh, my friend. You should definitely, if you're a cook or if you know your way around the kitchen, you should definitely make some. You should definitely make some if Erica and I are ever in Texas, in your area. Let's see. Look at me being all trying to influence someone to make me enchiladas. I think Erica said that she was going to make some chicken enchiladas tomorrow. I'm not even kidding. Is that what I heard you say? I'm not trying to be like. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't really have to try to be funny. I just am naturally funny. I kid. Okay, cool. So the question is, do we want a green outside and this on the inside, or do we want this on the outside and this on the inside? I think I'm going to make 1 and 1, the small ones. But the big one, the question is, no, originally I intended to make it this on the outside. So that's what it's going to be. All right. Awesome. These look fantastic, by the way. I do cook. I love spaghetti, rice, and especially chicken. Yeah. So if, enchiladas, shrimp with a green salsa, and Spanish rice. Oh, man. You know what I like on my spaghetti? This is going to sound crazy to some people, but because also it sounded crazy to Erica the first time I mentioned it, and she tried it, and even her family tried it, and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Instead of using Parmesan for your spaghetti, try using queso cotija. It's a dry cheese. Cotija is what it's called. It's a dry. It's kind of salty, but it's way better on spaghetti than Parmesan. Parmesan. Yeah, I'm hungry now. Let's see. All right, cool. So we are going to staple this one right down the center. See here. Yeah, is that too low? I'm gonna go in just a little bit. There it is. All right, we're committing, man. This is it. This is happening. You're now in the middle. Here we go. So, the middle, supposedly. Yeah, that should be good. Oh my goodness, look at this. Would you look at this? I mean, look at this. Oh man, this is awesome. Oh, it worked out. Don't you just love it when you imagine something and you're like, I wonder how it's going to be. Oh yeah, I can glue this and then put that together and then I'll have this on the outside, this on the inside. And then you're like, I don't know if it's going to work. It's nerve-wracking. And then you try it and then bam, it worked out. Almost just like you said it was going to work out. That's awesome. They say that Tesla was the type of person, Nikola Tesla, was the type of person that he never wrote anything down until he knew what it was going to look like at the end. So in his mind, he would imagine what the machine was going to look like first. And then only when it was clear in his mind, then he started, drawing it. I'm not like that. I have to draw something and then edit it as I go, modify it. like I did yesterday's video. All right, we're almost done here, familia. Sorry, I'm taking up so much of your time here, but we're almost out done. Let's see. And I love, by the way, that it's now sweater weather. I've been missing my hoodies. I'm a hoodie guy. I love my hoodies. I wear them to bed to stay extra warm. I wear them outside. I wear them inside. I wear them just to stay cozy. Some people don't understand that, but I just like to stay cozy. Of course, if I get hot, I'll take it off. But some people are like, "Oh man, it feels good out here. Just take off your jacket and it feels good," right? Because they like that fresh feeling. I like it too, but if I could stay in my hoodie, nice and warm, I'd rather be there. And like that's gonna be a nice little bookmark. Take your time when you're doing this too. By the way, just don't be in a rush. Just let the knife do its thing until everything comes out. Look at that. Look at that. All right. We're almost done here. I trim off a little bit on the top. Not too much, just a little bit. Wait, let me see in the back. Yeah. Okay, cool. So just about that much. A little more. Right there. When I was younger, right after high school, it started to happen. I got a lot of anxiety, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I would get panic attacks, like really bad panic attacks. My face would get numb, my arms would tighten up and get all tingly, and they would like crumble up like this and come to my chest. It was bad. I mean, really bad. And I knew that if I didn't control my mind was going to be the literal end of me. And so I started taking my personal growth very seriously. And I started listening to speakers, and I would talk to older people as much as I could, pick their brain. And thankfully, that phase is gone. But look at that! Look at that! It's green on the inside. Look at that! Beautiful, beautiful little notebook that we just made. Oh man, so satisfied, incredibly satisfied. It was a scary phase in my life. In the middle of the night, not being able to sleep, and then just getting up out of nowhere, and then just breathing heavy and weird, like uncontrollably. And I knew that if I didn't do anything about it, it was gonna be the end of me. And journaling helped, because I got to take out some of those thoughts that I had in my head, put them down on paper, read them back. That's important. That's the most important part, is that you read them back and then you make sense of it, because sometimes it just stays in your head as noise. It was just noise in my head all the time. It was scary to be so noisy in my head all the time. It wouldn't go away. It's just noise all the time. It wouldn't quiet down. And then I got into meditation. there was a time where I did some yoga, and that helped quiet the mind. A lot of stuff. I've never experienced anything like that, but I did see that in my daughter. It's a scary situation. Yeah, and you know, it's scary because in the moment you do feel that you're gonna die. You feel like you're gonna die. You feel like you're having a heart attack because you're breathing 1,000 miles a minute, and well, you don't know what to do about it. And then eventually, what I would do is I'd just get up and go wash my face. And then after the water was splashing on my face, for some reason, I didn't even know this. I just kind of intuitively did it. But the cold water would relax my heart rate, and then I started to calm down. So yeah, this little tab allows me to resize it. So I was at 4.25. It has measurements here. I don't know if you can see them, but probably not. It's going to be blurry. But that's 4 and 4.25, and I placed it at 4.25 for those full half size ones, those medium size one. But then I made a marking here for the smaller notebook. So then I could just move this over. I moved it right into place, and now I could staple it and be closer to the center that way. All right, I'm going to staple here. There. So yeah, it's a matter of like controlling your breathing. Your breathing is a big part of that. And you start hyperventilating and you start feeling like you're running out of breath because you're not getting the right amount of oxygen. You're just breathing in very shallow. You're getting a lot more carbon dioxide than you are anything else. And so you can't breathe. And it's just a matter of saying, hey, relax, bro, relax. It's fine. You're going to be fine. You feel like you're going to die, but at worst, you'll just pass out because your brain's not getting enough oxygen. You'll just pass out, you'll faint, and then you'll wake up and you'll be like, what happened? Who punched me? And then I'm laughing at my situation. Okay. I'm not laughing at anybody else's situation. This is really scary. It's an incredibly scary thing. In fact, my mom was just recently experiencing something like that for the first time ever. And she would ask me, she goes, man, that's how you felt? I'm like, yeah. She's like, how did you do it? How did you like cope? I'm like, I had to. Like, I didn't know anybody who had panic attacks. I had to figure it out on my own. But thankfully, you don't have to figure it out on your own. I could tell you what my experience was, and then you can learn from that. You know, that's a good thing about all this. But those notebooks look very sweater weather. You got to say it like that, sweater weather. Okay, so we're gonna cut just a tiny bit on both sides because it's gonna be smaller than our other books if we do that. If we go any deeper than that. Yeah. Panic attacks are scary. Focusing though on creating things can relax. Yeah, it does. Which is why I have so many things that I enjoy doing. Right? Like this keeps your mind occupied and relaxed. And then you get to be creative. So, your mind says, okay, cool. I have a purpose. I mean something. I'm good at something. Just like I was telling you before, when you have those voices in your head that tell you you're not good for anything, that you suck, that you're never amount to anything, that you don't ever succeed because you're this, you're that, or whatever the case may be, you start believing those words, man. And they're just echoes in your head of people who have their own limitations. And so they want to impose those limitations on you. But, that's what those voices are saying. They're saying to you, hey, you're not good at anything. You're not creative. You think people like, what you do, like you're kidding yourself. Look at you. This is you. What are you, 13? You're going to make little notebooks. What's up with that? And then this quiets it down. It's like, okay. And then especially when they look so good at the end, when you're satisfied, when you're happy, you're like, man, I made this. And you're happy with that. That voice is really quiet then. That voice is like, okay. But then it creeps back up and says, yeah, okay, cool. You made one. Big deal. But you're still this, you're still that. And, well, this is just a way of quietening the voice. This is why I have so many hobbies and things that I'm interested in, guitar and design and YouTube videos, and not just that, but also science and psychology and you know, what else? Because of Tony Robbins, I don't know how you all feel about him, but because of Tony Robbins, I was introduced to a thing called NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and then NLP introduced me to Richard Bandler and John Grinder, who are the creators of NLP. And it's basically reprogramming your mind from old patterns and old conditioning. And you could say that I reconditioned, I reprogrammed myself, for the lack of a better word. Went against the grain here. That's why it's curling. I just recently learned that, and I'm over here trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Cool. So I'm going to make this one reverse. This one's going to have the green on the outside and the leaves on the inside. Bring our sidekick in here. The cool thing about studying something like NLP is that it shows you that we are programmable. Whether you like it or not, there are things that you grew that made you who you are. Whether it's your parents, whether it's the movies you watch, the shows you watch, the music you listen to, all of that made you who you are. And unfortunately, you didn't participate in most of your conditioning. Most of that was imposed on you, and you became who you are because someone made you that way. And then until you take matters into your own hands and start changing behaviors and start getting rid of old patterns and replace new patterns, until that happens, you're always going to be a victim of your environment. So you could take matters into your own hands and change all that. You can. Some people believe that you can't, but you can. That's what NLP is. Hey, Miss Norris, welcome. At some point, a human being says, enough is enough. I no longer want to be this. I no longer want to be a victim. I no longer want to say yes to everything and say no to myself. I want to set boundaries. I want to be better. I want to grow. I want to experience new things, better things. I want a better life for myself, better life for my parents, better life for my children. I want a better life for me. And you pick up a journal and you start writing your thoughts down. Maybe you even set a few goals here and there and say, hey, I want to accomplish these things. What do I need to do to accomplish these things? And then you start planning things out. You start eliminating things about yourself that you no longer want to be. You could say, I've been impatient, but I want to be patient. I've been angry and I want to be at peace. I've been jealous and I want to have confidence. I've been envious and I want to have peace in my heart now. And then you start saying, okay, what is making me jealous? What is making me angry? And can I control that? And then you start getting into that part, the dichotomy of control. What's in my control? What's not in my control? What can I change and what can I not change? And the things that I cannot change, I don't worry about. And the things that I can, I change those things. And spoiler alert, you are all that you have control over. You, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your reactions, your thoughts. That's all you have control over. Everything else you have zero control over. You can manipulate things, you can move things around, but no, you can't control any of that. You can only control yourself. So look, here's the journals that we made. One is green on the outside, and it has these beautiful little fall leaves on the inside. And the other has the leaves on the outside and this beautiful green on the inside with a glue stain on it because we didn't clean up our station. And same with this. This is a medium-sized journal, pocket notebook. And then later on, I'm going to take my time and actually round out these corners so that they can all be round. But it's been fun making these. Let's see, how many did we make? We made 1, 2, 3 medium ones. And we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small. We didn't make this one today. This one goes back in my pocket. Yeah, there you go. And so, you pick. You get to pick. You get to say, hey, I don't want to write too much, so I want to pick a small one and make notes of, my business or little to-do lists, little notes to myself, reminders for the day, etc. Or you could say, you know what, I could use something a little bit bigger like this because I have more to say. And you can, write and sketch and do all kinds of stuff with this medium-sized one. You can go bigger, and you can make one like the one we made here, this one. This one's more of an accordion style. See? But you can make one like this and say, hey, I got a little bit more, a little extra more to say. Or go bigger and go bigger and go bigger. Whatever you want, you can do. Here's my updated journaling system. This. I had another book that was bigger, but I took the sheets from that book and cut them out because the book is this. It was this wide, like this. So you fold it, and this is one page. I cut them out, and then I folded those in half and made little booklets like this. And then I attached them to this book using thread. So see, a thread is coming out. I could slip these out. So this slips out. See, I could slip it out and then put a new one in it. So the goal is to just journal here. I don't need a big book. That's intimidating. And then I feel like I'm never going to finish it. It seems like I've got a long way to go. No, all I need to do is fill up one sleeve at a time, one signature at a time. And then when I'm done with this, I'll store it and then put a new one in its place. And then when I'm done with that, I'll store it and put a new one in its place. And when I have 6 or 7, as you see here illustrated when I was figuring this out, when I have a few of them, I will place them and sew them together and then bind them into a book. So then I'll have a book that's completed, and that will be put away, archived. And the cool thing is that I have 2 different journals here. One is for journaling business I'm working on, and I'm making notes on. So this goes with me everywhere I go. I made this whole thing from scratch, well, except the paper. I didn't make the paper, but you know what I mean. Made it from scratch, and I carry this with me. I make notes on my regular day-to-day journal, my observations, just like Leonardo da Vinci did. And then if I have notes on my business, I will write it on the other one. I'm not going to show you any notes of those, but I write it on that one. And I get to take this with me. And I also have my other journal that's still in my pocket because that one's specific for confidence building. And I created my own little system, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to just create your own system. Don't think that you have to journal like I do. Even you could take little bits and pieces of the way that I journal and say, hey, I like that. I don't like the rest of it, but I like this one little piece. I'm going to take from that. And then junk journaling, I like that. I'm going to take this piece from there. And then bullet journaling, cool. I like that they're tracking, how much water they're drinking. So I'm going to take from there. And then design your own little system that's perfect for you. so that you don't end up quitting journaling, so that your growth continues and it continues to move forward. You know, it kind of reminds me of a, what is that? Roturdidin? What is that? Oh, now I'm curious. Man, you should have said that to me, because now I'm going to look into it, and then I'm probably going to change this whole system all over again. Let's see. I love helping others, and I want to see them grow. My mom used to tell me, Alex, you cannot change the world. I used to say, but I can make a difference. That's true. You can make a difference, and that's all. That's it. That's all you can do. You should make a notebook with the wisdom you have, putting quotes in. I would definitely buy one. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to look into that. So that cover is awesome. Thank you. So if you are watching, because I'm streaming on both channels right now, if you're watching from the music channel, come on over to the journaling channel and subscribe. Join us so that you can journal with us and grow with us. We have a growing community, and we're all just trying to be, better people out here. Like Ivan is really active on that channel as well. I like all of it. I'm addicted to journals. Yeah. Buying, making, and using. Yeah. Isn't it great? Like, it's just great. It's just a great way of clearing your mind and being better. That's it. That's all that matters to me, is just being better, even if it's just a tiny little bit. So, today's live, I just wanted to see how this worked out, and I really like how it worked out. So, I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to take the screen and then apply this one. Look, this is more like a Thanksgiving type. But these might have to be, yeah, these might have to all be big journals, medium-sized journals, because the medium-sized journals are going to fit like this, unless I make it so that you can journal this way instead of this way. I just solved my own problem. All right, familia. Thank you all so much for joining. What you said, what community? So I started a new channel. It's called Pen Meets World, and it's a journaling channel where I'm making all these journals. I make all kinds of journals on there, and then we talk about the importance of journaling, and we help each other just with prompts and why we should journal, beginning journals, making things easier, simpler. So join us on there. We also have a Discord channel. The link is in the description. You're welcome to share your journals and your tools there. And then a Patreon as well. I have some zines there that you could download absolutely free, and create, and templates too for zines if you're interested in making your own zines and supporting the channel that way. We'd be greatly appreciated. Soon these notebooks will be on sale, or for sale, I should say. I have to figure out how I'm going to go about that, but yeah, they'll be for sale soon. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all being here and joining me, and for the wonderful conversation, and for sharing your personal life with me as well. I hope that each and every one of you, live better and get to grow. And I'll see you on our next adventure. Thanks. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.